I never liked big parties. The noise, the fake smiles, the way everyone pretends like they care more than they do. But this year, Jenna insisted. You're turning 40, babe. That's a big deal, she said with this wide smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. So I agreed. I should have trusted my gut and told her no. She planned everything. Caterers, lights in the backyard, a little live band, the whole show. I just showed up. My name's Mark, by the way. Mark Ellison. I work in commercial roofing out in Denver. Long days, cracked knuckles, sunburned necks. I don't do glitter. But that night, there were string lights dangling off the fence, tables dressed in white linen, and wine glasses that cost more than my boots. Jenna looked gorgeous. She always did when she wanted to. Tight burgundy dress. Her hair curled just right. That shade of lipstick she only wore on holidays or when we used to have sex. Funny thing, I couldn't remember the last time she wore it for me. Anyway, people came. Her co-workers, a few of my buddies, even my old boss from the supplier company. Everyone had a drink in their hand and a lie on their lips. You look great, Mark. Jenna really outdid herself. Here's to many more years. All that. And then he showed up. Philip Carr. Her boss. I'd heard about him before. Seen the name on her phone a few times. Late-night texts about some client or project. It's nothing, Mark, she told me once. He's just demanding. Yeah, well, the way he looked at her across that patio, like he already owned her, told a different story. He was younger than me. Maybe mid-30s. Clean shave, sleek haircut, the kind of guy who calls espresso espresso, but gets away with it. And Jenna? She lit up when he walked in. I mean lit up. I watched her float toward him, heels clicking like applause, all sparkle and giggle and open palms. She touched his arm. Not long, just long enough for me to notice. Then she leaned in and said something that made him laugh. Not polite, but real, deep, like they had inside jokes, like they shared something. I felt it right then, this hollow knock in my chest, like someone tapping at a locked door inside me. Something's wrong. Something's not right. I tried to play it cool, greeted people, smiled at whoever looked my way, but my eyes kept drifting back to her, to them. She kept gravitating toward him, even when guests pulled her aside, like some invisible cord kept tugging her back. And then it happened. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic, but it was surgical, precise, like she wanted me to see. I was standing near the grill, talking to my friend Eric about the Broncos game, and I glanced across the yard just in time to catch her standing in front of Philip. She was laughing, one hand on his shoulder. Then, without hesitation, she leaned in and kissed him, right on the cheek, but slow. Her lips lingered. Her hand rested on his chest. And the way he smiled afterward? It wasn't surprise. It wasn't embarrassment. It was familiarity. She'd done it before. I just stood there. Eric kept talking, but his voice sounded like it was underwater. I think I nodded. I think I took a sip of my drink. But inside, I was gone. Something had snapped. Not in rage. Not in heartbreak. Just snapped. She thought I wouldn't notice. Or maybe she thought I wouldn't care. Maybe I was just the man who paid the mortgage and picked up her dry cleaning. The one who never asked questions because I trusted her. Well, not anymore. I stayed through the rest of the party. Smiled. Thanked people. Took pictures. Blew out the candles on the cake Jenna picked out. Chocolate. My least favorite. Then, around midnight, when the guests finally trickled out and the house quieted, I lay beside her in bed. She was drunk. Laughing about something someone said, scrolling through pictures on her phone. Did you have a good birthday? She asked, half asleep. I didn't answer. She passed out within minutes. I watched the ceiling for an hour. Just breathing. Not angry. Just calculating. Planning. At 5:30 a.m., I got up, showered, packed a bag. Quietly. Deliberately. I took my laptop, some clothes, my grandfather's watch. I didn't slam a single door. By 7 o'clock, I was gone. Before I left, I stopped by the kitchen counter, pulled out a sheet of paper, and wrote a letter. Nothing poetic. Just the truth. I folded it neatly and placed it on her pillow. The title read, Happy Birthday to Me. The first thing I did was freeze our accounts. Every joint credit card, checking, savings, everything. I wasn't being cruel. I was being clear. Clarity is a gift people don't recognize until it's wrapped in consequence. By the time Jenna rolled over in our king-size bed and reached for her phone, the house was quiet. Too quiet. My truck was gone. My keys were missing from the hook by the door. The letter was waiting on her pillow. I can only imagine how her morning went. Probably started with confusion, then denial, Then the slow, creeping realization that this time, I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't sulking or brooding or giving her space. I was gone, and I left nothing behind but 4 pages of handwriting and a title that said everything I didn't during the party. Happy birthday to me. In the letter, I told her the truth. That I saw the kiss. That I'd been seeing her pull away for months, maybe years, but that night confirmed what I already knew. That she chose him in front of everyone. I wrote about all the small ways she'd been disappearing. How her phone tilted away from me on the couch. How she used to light up when I walked through the door, but now she just glanced up and went back to whatever screen held her attention. How I'd started feeling more like her roommate than her husband. I told her that what broke me wasn't the kiss, it was the intention, the casual ease of it. The fact that she could do that while holding a glass of champagne in one hand and my heart in the other and not flinch. Like I was invisible. Like I wasn't even there. And in a way, maybe I hadn't been. Not to her. I ended the letter with this. I loved you. Past tense. Because the version of you I loved doesn't exist anymore. You buried her somewhere between the first lie and the last kiss that wasn't mine. So now, I'm doing what you never had the courage to. I'm leaving. Not to punish you, but to remember who I am. Happy birthday to me. Mark. I got a hotel room for a few days. It was the kind with bad wallpaper and a mini fridge that buzzed like a hive, but I slept better there than I had in our bed in over a year. Jenna called. 17 times that first day. Then texts. Where are you? Please talk to me. Mark, you're being ridiculous. That one made me laugh. By the second day, her tone changed. I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a kiss. You're blowing this out of proportion. Then came the guilt tactics. You're really just going to walk out? After everything we've built? But what she never said, not once, was, I'm sorry. That's what struck me most. Even in the chaos of losing me, she still didn't own what she did. So I didn't respond. I gave her silence. The same silence she gave me for years. After a week, I moved in with my brother up in Aurora. He cleared out his guest room, said nothing at first, just handed me a beer and turned on the game. That night, we sat on his porch, and he finally asked, so what happened? I didn't go into detail. Just said, she kissed her boss at my birthday party. He blinked, took a long pull from his drink, and said, you kidding? I shook my head. Right in front of me. He didn't say sorry. Didn't try to psychoanalyze. He just nodded. Then she deserves the quiet. That stuck with me. Jenna tried to reach me for weeks. I didn't block her. I wanted her to feel the emptiness. To know what it was like to speak into a void and realize the person you once took for granted isn't waiting on the other side. Eventually, the calls slowed. The messages got shorter. Then one day, they just stopped. I filed for divorce a month later. Did it clean. No screaming matches. No social media drama. Just paperwork and signatures. And I started over. Got a small place near Sloan's Lake. Took a job managing a new roofing crew. I'd show up early, leave late. Got into shape. Started running again. Not because I needed a distraction, but because I wanted to feel my feet on the ground. To remember what it felt like to move forward. Some nights I'd think about the party. The music. The lights. Her laugh. That damn kiss. It wasn't the betrayal that haunted me. It was the fact that she thought I'd stay. That she believed I'd swallow it like every other disappointment. That I'd come to bed, say goodnight, and wake up the next morning and pour her coffee. But I didn't. I packed my bag, took my dignity, and left her to sit in the silence she built brick by brick. A few months after the divorce, I got a letter, handwritten, from her. She wrote about regret, about how she didn't realize what she had until I was gone, how she missed the quiet mornings, my steadiness, the way I used to look at her. But here's the thing, she never once said she missed me. Not the real me. Not the man who saw her at her worst and loved her anyway. She missed the idea of me, the stability, the loyalty. She didn't miss who I was. She missed how I made her feel. That was the final piece I needed. I folded the letter, placed it in a drawer I don't open anymore, and walked outside. The air was cold that evening. Crisp. Honest. I stood there for a while, watching my breath fog in the air. And I whispered, happy birthday to me. Because some gifts don't come in boxes. Some come when you finally choose yourself.